All right, we are here with a plant-based production with our very special guest, Ms. Zulia, aka Naturally Zuzu. Zuzu, thank you so much for coming on the show with Chef John Swafford.
Hey.
We got Chef John behind the cameras right now, and he's ready to come out in front of the camera. Zuzu, how long have you been vegan?
I've been vegan for almost 8.5, almost 9 years. Can you believe it? It feels like yesterday, but yeah, it's been that long.
And what inspired you to go vegan?
Initially, it was health reasons. I used to suffer from a very severe joint inflammation, and I'm a dancer. I'm an athlete. One morning, I woke up and I just couldn't move my joints. And imagine when you're an athlete and you're a dancer and you get up, you're like, shoot, like I can't move my muscles. I can't move my joints. What I'm going to do? So I started doing a lot of research, and when you're doing research, you get into that rabbit hole of looking through things and like doing, going from one research to another. And then you watch the documentaries, and we just talked about it. So I watched Forks Over Knives. I watched Earthlings, and I'm like, this is it. I'm completely changing my life right now. And overnight, I cleaned up my fridge and decided to go vegan.
Yeah, I watched Food Choices.
And I have not looked back since then.
Yeah, I watched Food Choices, and overnight I did the same thing and threw away everything. John, what documentary are you going to watch?
I'm going to watch Food Choices, I guess.
Yeah, so the number one effect when you stop eating meat is inflammation goes down. Inflammation is also known as soreness. So if you're sore, right, people are like inflammation, commonly known as soreness. If you're sore,
you can't do anything. I mean, you cannot function. How can you even pick up a knife and chop your vegetables?
And if you have knee inflammation or soreness, it's going to be hard to run and do triathlons like Miss Zuzu did. Zuzu, thank you so much for coming on the show. John, you excited today?
Oh, super excited. So I have a question for you as well.
Yes, John.
So for someone who's transitioning into a healthier lifestyle and dietary changes, what's a stepping stone, or how would you go about that?
I would start doing like elimination one item at a time. Let's say dairy. Eliminate the dairy first. That was my thing. I eliminated dairy completely because after doing a research, I learned that number one cause of inflammation in humans is actually dairy. When my teenage son was going through puberty, I remember he had a lot of acne. I told him immediately, like, change your diet. Your face will get better. Like, let's get rid of the dairy. He got rid of the dairy in a matter of 2 months. There was no more acne in his face, which tells you a lot about, what toxins pushed out into our bodies when we're consuming dairy. So start with that, and then start eliminating red meat and chicken, and then eggs and fish. I think for a lot of people who cannot do it overnight, I always tell them, do gradually. Start eliminating one item at a time from your diet. And it takes 21 days for your body to adjust or to reset. And after 21 days, you're not going to be craving any of that. Whether it's sugar, alcohol, meat, dairy, fish, whatever. 21 days for your body to reset itself and you start feeling better.
Alrighty, so that's a benchmark, 21 days.
That's it.
Yeah, challenge yourself to do a 21
We're going to be doing the challenge. Maybe the plant-based production will start a plant-based challenge.
So, Chef Zuzu, what's your favorite thing to make?
Oh my gosh, I love making ramen. I love making noodles, dumplings. What else? Anything with mushrooms, like we talked about earlier. Mushrooms is my jam.
What's your favorite mushroom dish for those who have watched our show? And Chef John loves mushrooms too.
Oyster mushrooms are my favorite, king oyster mushrooms. And then I love shiitake, I love lion's mane.
How do you prep them?
Like I always tell people, you don't want to wash your mushrooms because mushrooms already have a lot of liquid in it, so you don't want to put more liquid. So you want to just clean the mushrooms with some wet napkin. And if you do wash your mushrooms for whatever reason, you have to air dry them. Make sure they're like dry completely before you start cutting, chopping, and using them in your dishes. I love cooking the mushrooms in a cast iron pan, searing them, seasoning them initially, and then searing them as if you would sear a protein, like a steak. And then I'll cut them really, really thinly, slice it up, and then I make like a Cubano sandwich from it, or I can make a torta from it. You know, there's so many things you can make from mushrooms. I make mushroom Wellington. It's my Thanksgiving specialty. Every year when people come to my house for Thanksgiving, they request specifically for mushroom Wellington. And that Wellington is packed with 5 different mushrooms. Shiitake, I put portobellos, maitake mushrooms, king oyster mushrooms, and then I put one more thing. What else do I put? I put one more mushroom, I forgot. Then, you know, I make a mixture from it as if it has the same texture as ground beef. Then I also add lentils. Then I wrap it in a pastry dough. It's the best thing ever. So good. Maybe we should make it here on the show
Wow.
one day.